evening and welcome to the Urban Debate. I'm Pratibha Chandran. Viewers, today the Parliament reconvened after the month-long student protests ended. The battle seems to have now shifted from the streets to the Parliament because the centre introduced the anti-paper leak law, promising tougher punishments, fast-track courts, time-bound investigations and dedicated probe teams to crack down on organised exam leak rackets. The government says that this bill marks its strongest response yet to restore faith in the examination system. But the political confrontation is far from over because while until now the opposition leaders had been asking for the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, that goal seems to have shifted because from the resignation from Rahul Gandhi to the TMC, the demand has now come to the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, with the opposition saying that there should be a discussion on the police excesses on the protesters on the 20th of July. Now, earlier today, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju appealed to the parties to support this legislation, making an appeal that this is for the students, help build a stronger legal framework, and yet there continue to be disruptions in the Parliament.
टास्क फोर्स बनाया है और इतना बड़ा क्रांतिकारी बिल लेके आए हैं एग्जामिनेशन को सुधारने के लिए ताकि भविष्य में कोई लीक ना हो। अगर किसी ने ज़रूरत किया पेपर लीक में इन्वॉल्व पाया गया तो बहुत ही कठोर सज़ा देने के लिए और समयबद्ध ये सारा प्रावधान लेकर के आया है। तो इसके बाद भी अगर चर्चा होने नहीं देते हैं तो संदेश गलत जाएगा। मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी को फिर कहना चाहता हूं कि देश का छात्रों का स्टूडेंट्स का जो फीलिंग्स है उसको समझने का कोशिश करें।
So the government says if it is about accountability, if it is about the students, let's have the discussion and bring in the tougher anti-paper leak bill in the Parliament. After discussions, it becomes a law. But the opposition now says that the real issue is not just stronger laws, it is accountability. The Congress, DMK, Samajwadi Party, TMC, JMM are all demanding answers over the handling of the crisis, the implementation and also the treatment of the protesting students. Listen in to the new demands of the opposition.
कोई भी संस्थान अपनी जिम्मेवारी नहीं लेगी, जिम्मेवारी से भागेगी तो कार्रवाई फिर किन से आप करेंगे? बहुत सारे आप प्रावधान बना दें, लेकिन कौन है? मैंने कहा कि इतने एक्ट बने, इतने प्रावधान बने हैं, लेकिन जिम्मेदार कोई नहीं है, तो कार्रवाई क्या आप किन पे करेंगे? प्रश्न ये होता है।
अभी तो फिलहाल जो छात्र नौजवानों के साथ कई जगह पर सरकार केस करा रही है, मुकदमे लिखा रही है। सरकार को चेतना को चुनौती नहीं देनी चाहिए और सरकार के लिए चेतना ही चुनौती बन गई। और अभी तो बात हम सब पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लीडर बैठ के बात करेंगे क्या तय करना है।
I don't think the government is in a position to tell us anything right now. I think what we have seen is the only step one. We have seen the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan, delayed as it were. What is most important now is accountability from the Home Ministry. Either Amit Shah gave the orders, in which case he must answer, and B, if he is the minister and he didn't give the orders, then also he must answer.
डिबेट तो सही है, हम लोग करना चाहते हैं, हर बिल पर ही डिबेट करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन आपने देखा है कि किस तरह से सत्ता पक्ष लगातार डिबेट भी कई बार नहीं कराना चाहती है या करा भी लेती है तो वही करती है जो वो चाहते हैं। तो उसमें हमें देखना है कि उन्होंने क्या क्या प्रावधान रखा है और उस प्रावधान से भविष्य में किसी तरह की गड़बड़ी होगी या नहीं होगी, ये भी हम लोग देखना चाहेंगे। फाइनली सरकार जब राजी हुई है कि हाँ बिल बनाएंगे, उस बिल में गड़बड़ी नहीं होनी चाहिए।
Now, the key focus for the opposition is the alleged use of pellet guns, lathis and tear gas during the Jantar Mantar protests. And it's right, it is one of the biggest issues and it is an issue that must be discussed. But must it come at the cost of the parliament proceedings? That's the question. Because remember, until now, first the Congress party had been demanding a discussion on the NEET paper leaks. Then it moved on to the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan and now it has come to the police force on the 20th of July.
resignation is a huge step in rebuilding our education system. It's a symbolic step because he was a symbol, but it is still a big step. And I want to congratulate every single student, every single youngster who came out on the streets and fought for democracy. It's also a signal to other parts of society, farmers, laborers, poor people, anybody who this regime is attacking and oppressing. There is wisdom and courage in standing up. Daro mat, let's get rid of this regime that is attacking India, destroying our constitution, capturing all our institutions. And the final demand that the Prime Minister of India, out of respect for the students of India, out of respect for the future of India, has to apologize to the students who were brutalized and attacked.
So the question now is the opposition shifting goalposts? When did it change from the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan? Is the opposition now trying to keep the issue alive even after the students have called off the protest? Yes, the issue of police force against students is a legitimate issue and needs discussion and accountability. But it can't come each time at the cost of the parliament proceedings. And why is the opposition silent on paper leaks in the other states? What about issues in Punjab, in Karnataka, in Himachal? No word from the opposition. So the question is, who is actually doing disservice to the students? Let's bring in guests joining us this evening. We have an esteemed panel. Jasmine joining us, spokesperson of the BJP, Shaina NC, National Secretary and National Spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, and we have Pooja Mishra, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Bikramjit Passi, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Khaliqur Rahman, Congress leader, joining us on the broadcast. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Khaliqur Rahman, the question is, the Congress party, the opposition leaders had all asked for accountability, more transparency, big changes and overhaul in the examination system. So the question is, why now stall the proceedings in the parliament again? Because the government has made it clear that it is bringing in the tougher law. Anti-paper leaks bill is being brought in the parliament. So why stall that?
Yeah, good evening to you and good evening to all my co-panelists, to all the viewers. So you have to understand one thing, that last 22 days, we have seen the brutality of the police, especially on the students. The pellets were, fired at the students. Okay. And then what we have seen in Bihar, the AK-47, was taken out by the policeman and then fired with the AK-47, and the students were treated like the terrorists. So I think this is a more important issue. And
no,
in
it is
any
an important
case,
issue.
I'm coming to that.
My question is, this happened on 20th. Until the resignation, the opposition didn't bring up the issue and it was not the biggest point. You continue to say that there should be a resignation of the education minister and that was the demand of the students. When did it change?
Exactly. That's what I'm coming to, in fact. Just allow me to, speak. So then let, the Home Minister and let the Prime Minister, give the clarification on this, and then the leak bill, whichever the government is tabling now, that in fact will be debated. But before that, let the government answer this, and let the government inform the nation, inform the House with regard to the brutality of the police, because the students and the youth of our country cannot be treated like the terrorists. So that is, something which is a matter of huge concern.
True. Police excesses are not acceptable, but does that mean that the parliament must be disrupted again? We've already seen what has happened today, and I'm only talking about that because the issue is of the students. And you're right, there have been police excesses. There should be a discussion on that. But I'm only asking about whether Parliament should be derailed time and again, because the only thing being delayed is the stronger anti-paper leak bill. That's what is being delayed by these discussions. Bikramjit, the question is, the opposition was very clear that this is about the students. But if it is about the student protests, then why is it that newer issues are coming up? Now Rahul Gandhi going on to say that the Prime Minister must apologize, the TMC saying the Home Minister must resign. Where is the accountability that the opposition was asking for?
First of all, I want to say that we are not against the strict legal act. We are in favor of the strict legal act, but the Modi government has lost its faith from the public also and from the students also. The central government had promised even we have all seen on your channels that central government had promised that it will draw all the cases, all the FIRs against the students. Have they withdrawn it? The central government has not taken even a single action against that fellow who was having 3 star on his shoulder and he was hitting a lady from back with the stick. What action has been taken? What is the what concern has been shown by the central government regarding the brutality caused to the students? The students who are our future, whose parents were also there, were beaten brutally. And now, what BJP is saying, it is clearly said that if you speak a lie 100 times or 1,000 times, it cannot become a truth. In Punjab, in Aam Aadmi Party government, the truth is that not even a single exam has been leaked. But what BJP is trying to say, they are trying to convert their.
Has there not been a cheating scandal recently in the pharmacy examinations?
No, no. Cheating is a different thing and examination leak is a different thing. But in cheating case also, the Aam Aadmi Party government in Punjab has taken immediate action, registered the FIR, arrested the
No,
culprits.
I just want to point out that in Punjab, the education minister has spoken up and he says that it is the collective responsibility of the cabinet. It doesn't come under his ministry. The Punjab chief minister says very clearly there will be no resignation because this is a cheating case. So is it that only when there are paper leaks there will be a resignation? If not, then the rules are completely different, because in Karnataka as well, the chief minister has addressed the officials saying that if paper leaks happen, then DCs are responsible. So if in Karnataka it happens, DCs are responsible. But when it happens in the national capital, you say nothing less than the education minister's resignation. Nevertheless, despite these different rules, it doesn't look like the opposition still wants a debate. And Shana, and see, is this where the problem comes in? Because the students have been raising issues and they were very legitimate issues. They wanted an overhaul in the examinations in the country, and that was a legitimate demand that went on. The government also seems to have given a message that we are listening. Why are we still seeing disruptions in the parliament?
So what is happening in Parliament right now needs to be understood. The government wants to pass the anti-paper leak bill and other reforms as quickly as we can. And what is the opposition doing? They're only stalling the House and demanding debate first on police brutality at Jantar Mantar, and then they want to move forward. Now, look at what the Honorable Prime Minister has said. He said that the necessary steps are being taken for transparency, accountability, competitive exams, and that the government is very clear that they need to discuss every issue related to students and youth at every level. So it's not one-upmanship. It is about discussion in Parliament. The issue was tabled in the Lok Sabha. The fast-track courts for paper leaks, strict punishment, major exam reforms for NEET, UPSC, SSC are all the agenda of the government. And this government's main response is very clear, that we are sensitive towards the need protests and we understand that the youth are not the future. If at all, they are the present. So we need to address this collectively. And this collective conscience starts by discussions in Parliament and then, of course, in the courts too. If we need to have systemic implementations to ensure that the anti-paper leak bill is passed, it needs to be done with the collective consciousness. So the opposition and Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who is pretending to be this messiah of the so-called movement, must understand that this is a student movement. It is not a political agenda. It is the wish and the demand of the youth of this country, and the government has been very, very respectful of the same and wants to arrive at a consensus through Parliament. So this kind of paralysis where you agitate
but
outside,
would you say that the government was able to convince the protesters or the students who were at Jantar Mantar, but somewhere the government was not able to convince the opposition that the same kind of effort should have been taken with the opposition as well?
Look, we are very clear. We're ready for discussion. We're ready for reforms. And we can also debate on what happened, what transpired. When we look at the anti-paper leak bill and look at it in totality and its functioning, you do need to understand that fourth day of adjournments and sloganeering only outside Parliament is not the way forward. In a democracy where the Prime Minister has been so sensitive to the cause, when the Home Minister is willing to understand and reply to every question, you need to have that discussion in Parliament. It's not done on the streets of Delhi or any other part of the country. And yes, we respect, and that's why we need to introspect and act fast. What is the need for these fast track courts? The need for these fast track courts is that at the earliest you have in the public domain what happened with the paper leaks, the strict punishment that needs to be given at the earliest, the major reforms that need to come. So many families who've been, their parents who have been associated with their children's need UPSC and SSC exams, they are all part of it. So it is a collective consciousness of the people of India.
Okay, so Pooja Mishra, is there a worry from the opposition that you're now giving into that playbook of the government? Because now government has a moral standing where it can say that, yes, we accept there were lapses, we accept that there were protests, there were demands, and we have met all of them. The students asked for a complete overhaul. We are bringing in some sweeping changes. Now you have the education minister of the time, Dharmendra Pradhan, who resigned as well. So the government is now saying that we listen to the protesters, we have given in and we are making a lot of changes. But look what the opposition is doing. And the opposition now is in a position where the government can say that, look, we are trying to bring tougher laws, but it is the opposition that is stalling it.
Good evening, Pratibha, and good evening, fellow panelists as well. And everyone knows the fact that the government back off and government paid heed to the protest, because they get to know that until and unless they will not pay heed to the protest, this protest will continue. The education minister resigned under the pressure. Pratibha, paper leak happened, okay? The accountability should be fixed to the education minister. But how education minister reacted? Issue and the reaction of the responsible person matters a lot. Our education minister called the students terrorists. In 2024 also, what happened?
Who called
when
them
paper
terrorists?
was leaked, and even the media, our education minister, he called the protester as B party of terrorists. He said it. He said it on the record. Our
Dharmendra
education minister
Pradhan
was
called the
calling the student as
protesters terrorists? I
as
don't think that is true.
yes, B party of B party of terrorists. He said that on the
Okay.
record. He said that. That's the problem. That's the problem, Prithiva. When you are responsible, you need to take accountability. It happens in 2024 also. When
Okay.
2024 paper leak happened and people are questioning Dharmendra Pradhan ji, he said no, there isn't any paper leak. When protest arose, then he accepted. And at that time also the act was introduced, that is prevention of unfair means. What happened? We saw in 2026 again paper leak happened. Making law doesn't guarantee that it will stop the paper leak or it will make things perfect. Enforcing it on the ground, accountability and responsibility makes it happen. And here we want discussion on the what brutality of police did to the student. Laws already existed, you failed to enforce it, and now you are again wanting us to discuss on the law, not on the present scenario. Student needs a proper future. Right now there shouldn't be any cases imposed on them.
Okay.
They were protesting for
No,
a
but my
cause,
point is,
and you
when the
were not
protest
listening
was
to
going
them.
on, Pooja, when the protest was going on, there were certain demands, and the fact that the protesters didn't want FIRs on them was also one of the demands that was given. And this was very much after the 20th of July protest. They met the government, they had the 3 demands, they gave it to the government also agreed, the protest has been called off. This fresh demand has come only after that, and that's the point. There should be a debate. There's no doubt about that. I continue to say that there should be a debate on the police excesses, and the opposition should hold the government accountable. But should it come at the cost of the parliament proceedings? That's the question.
May I come in?
Of course, it affects the lives of students, millions of the students. It affects the lives of millions of students. Currently in Allahabad also, the students who were involved in 25th of this protest, when our education minister resigned, now they are captured from their hostels. Just today morning, a lot of students were taken to the police station. Why this is happening?
Okay.
When
okay.
the education minister
Okay,
has resigned and you have agreed to the condition, then why this is happening? These are happening. So that need to be discussed. The students are threatened. The students are now scared. They protested. You said we agree to it, and your action and your words aren't matching. So that will be discussed. Now the protesters need to be calm, need to focus on their studies. Okay, the things has been done, but no, it's not happening. What is happening? The police is inquiring where these protesters are. They are identifying who the students were involved in, and they are capturing them from even hostels.
But that's not what the
even in
opposition
front
is
of their
saying. The
homes.
opposition is now saying that we want discussion on the police excesses. They are not talking about the cases that have been filed on the protesters. Ms. Jasmine?
That is the excesses of the police. Brutality of police. AK-47 was fired in the Bihar. Everyone saw it. All
Okay.
it's all.
Okay, Ms. Jasmine, respond to that charge.
Yeah, because only if Pooja will let me. Parliament is meant to be a forum of debate and discussion. The opposition has every right to raise up pertinent question. It has every right to raise up the question that excess force by the police was used, if it was used. An investigation, after all, will take 2 days, 3 days, 5 days. It's not the MPs who are going to be sitting there and deciding that who has to be punished. There is a procedure and a law in this country which will be followed. And Mr. Amit Shah is not going to shy away and come down heavily or if the police excesses were done. And in certain cases, in a democracy, the police excesses cannot be tolerated. That can be debated. But the most important and pertinent question here is that a reform bill is being introduced, and it is the most important thing which has to be addressed at this moment. And the future of the students is not being discussed here by the opposition, but the opposition is holding the parliament to ransom. It's all right to be in the opposition, raise up in debate, but do not scuttle the future. Do not, I mean, here is the government which is wanting to debate on, like Shaina was saying, that a law has been introduced. Please come, debate, ask for amendments, but don't stall the parliament. Please be a responsible opposition in this country. Don't ransom the parliament.
Okay, so don't stall the parliament, but you know, the reason why the opposition is having these doubts, would you also say, is because the response of the government came only when the protests were getting out of hand, and the protesters had been very, very adamant on their demands. This resignation also, many protesters see it as being a bit too late. But more importantly, now as the focus shifts on Bihar, there you have a policeman who is seen with an AK-47 in hand firing at the protesters. And just this morning, you had an LJP MP also defending that move, saying, yes, what's wrong if he's using an AK-47? If there are criminals in the protest, then what action should the police officials do? It's clearly not in the law. So why are there leaders who are coming out in defense of this action when an AK-47 is used against the students?
Pratibha, it is very, very unfortunate that an incident of such ramification happened. And my party is not going to run away that this has happened. And it is very sad. And I am sure a thorough investigation will be done in a time-bound phase. And the government will come down heavily on this. This will not be tolerated at all. And we stick on that.
Okay, so you're saying action has been taken, the policeman has been suspended as well, and we are ready for accountability. So, Mr. Bikramjit, this is the point that I was making. Is the opposition now allowing the government to take the moral high ground and say that we have responded to the protest, we have responded to what the protesters or the students wanted, but it's not the same with the opposition. The opposition has a certain agenda because they're also asking questions on what about the examinations in Punjab? What about the examinations in Himachal? What about the examinations in Karnataka? How is it that rules are different in these states compared to what happened in the center? If it was about accountability, if it was about transparency, and if it was about the students' cause, why is the opposition not walking the talk?
First of all, I want to clear that there is no paper leak in Punjab. Some instances of cheating, for example, in one university, in one center, the few students who are doing cheating by using modern pens or modern gadgets, it cannot be compared with paper leak. Similar was the position when PPSC exam has been claimed by BJP, whereas Honorable Punjab and High Court Justice Harpreet Singh Barad has clearly laid a judgment that there was no paper leak in Punjab. 21st January 2026. 21st January. Kindly
so there
read
will
the
be
judgment.
Accountability only if there is a paper leak. If there is a cheating scandal, there is no accountability. Is that what you're saying?
Have been created by the BJP. Kindly let me speak, Pratibha. You have given so much time to others. Kindly give me 2 minutes only. One thing. Now my learned friend Jasmine is saying that the parliament is for discussions, but during the period of 2009 to 2014, 61% time of the parliament was stopped by the BJP by stalling the parliament in Lok Sabha, and 66% time in Rajya Sabha. The opposition parties are here to protect the democracy, to raise the voice against the government. Government is not the master of the country. Government is not the owner of the country. They are not the owner of the country. Whatever they are saying is to be considered as a gospel truth. We are here to raise the voice for the people, for the democracy. And what we are doing is the same thing. Second thing is, the BJP has not taken a strict action against the police officers till date who have brutally beaten the students. The BJP has not withdrawn all the FIRs against the students. The BJP has lost its faith. BJP is what there is a say that people may doubt what you say, but they always believe what you do. But BJP is doing totally different, totally adverse, totally opposite what it has said. This is the actual reason that why the opposition parties are raising the voice for the democracy, are raising the voice.
Okay, so
for our
Shaina, is
students,
there merit
for
in
our
what the
children.
opposition is saying?
Comment, please.
Yes, Shaina.
Look, the central government is ready to discuss every issue related to the students, the youth, and the movement at every level. The government is calling the opposition, and in fact, the opposition is running away from discussion because their double standards stand exposed. What are the aims? The aims are fast track courts, the aims are strict punishment for paper leaks, the aim is for major reforms to be it NEET, UPSC, etc. And the Prime Minister has announced that exam reforms to protect students for the future, the present, is a priority. On the one hand, Sonam Wangchuk called off his 26-day hunger strike. You have the Lok Sabha adjourned due to the opposition ruckus, demanding that debates first, bill later. How can you have that kind of a double standard? We are ready for discussion, but the opposition only wants disruption and not solutions. They stand totally exposed. They wanted Dharmendra Pradhan to resign. He has resigned. They wanted a certain criteria addressed. The Prime Minister has assured that there will be a foolproof protection so that the students are not inconvenienced in the future. But if you choose to have this ruckus and disruption outside Parliament, where are the solutions? And how are you going to arrive at a solution? So please, the opposition's double standards need to be exposed because they are making it a political issue.
Okay.
This is the youth of the country, which, as I repeatedly say, is not the future, they are the present, and we respect them.
Okay, Mr. Khalikur Rahman, respond to that.
See, as far the opposition's concerned, the opposition, in fact, wants the debate to happen in the parliament. It is rather the BJP who is, trying to shy away from the questions what is being posed to the government by the opposition party. See, while we want, the anti-paper leak bill to be passed, there is no doubt about it. But before that, what the serious, concerns the youth of the country are facing, that needs to be addressed first. And so far, there is no action, actually. It is only the lip service which has been made by the, the government, by the Honorable Prime Minister and his, the cabinet colleagues.
But what is the lip service? You wanted the resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan that has already been given. It has even been accepted. What is the lip service in that? You wanted the resignation was one of the core demands that has already come about.
Before the resignation came in, we want the opposition as a collective to debate in the parliament with regard to the brutalities on the students, the cases filed against them, the FIRs filed against them, whether they have been withdrawn or not. Why is because see, it is the BJP who is trying to create the ruckus. Let BJP, debate in the parliament. Then after that, the parliament, the opposition is ready to debate on.
Okay, so Pooja Mishra, what are the demands? Just to get things out of the way, because this concerns the students of the country, what are the key demands? One, the discussion on police excesses, but Rahul Gandhi has also said there should be an apology from the Prime Minister. The TMC has also said there should be a resignation from Amit Shah. So it doesn't look like even the opposition is in one unison and is talking in unison. You have the DMK that is saying the entire NEET should be abolished. So what are the key demands after which the country can look at a positive debate in the parliament?
First of all, our party's demand is that there should be discussion on the excesses of police enforcement.
Okay.
And talking about the resignation and accountability should be fixed to the government, and that we will discuss. We have proposed, our leaders, Akhilesh Yadav ji has proposed this to our opposition parties, our allies, that we'll to discuss on what topic we will be discussing in near future. But presently, we want discussion on the excesses enforcement of police. And talking about the double standard, you are saying, the government is saying that we want to discuss on the bill. We already did discussion in 2024 and we saw what happened. So it is like repeating the same thing. Rather than repeating the same thing, what need to be done is to discuss present. They are the present of our nation. I have heard Sena saying that they are not future, they are present. Then just conserve the present. Now they are into dilemma. They are facing. They are scared. Anytime police may come to them, and the excess of which the charge should be fixed to the police officers who went for excess. I don't know whether the government, ordered them. If government ordered them, the government should take accountability. If they didn't order them, then also they need to take accountability. Right now, even just yesterday, just before this parliament session, last parliament session, no adjourn motion of ours were accepted. And today also we heard that the chairperson said that not a single adjourn motion of opposition has been accepted. We want at least a single adjourn motion to be accepted by the parliament so that we can have a discussion on the present scenario, the excesses of police.
So Ms. Jasmine, Congress party wants a personal apology from the Prime Minister in the floor of the House. The TMC wants the resignation of Amit Shah. The DMK wants the abolition of NEET. These are the demands that have been given by the opposition, and the government is accused of not listening to what the opposition is saying.
Pratibha, I want to remind the very mophoic Congress party and the other opposition parties that the country has witnessed a huge amount of anger by the younger generation, by the students who were affected by the NEET paper leak. And here we have tabled a reform bill today to address the whole issue. So where are they going to run away? What are they doing? They are actually trying to politicize an issue which is being addressed by the government, and promptly it is being done. It is their moral obligation to address that the children and the students do not suffer again. By stringent laws are being introduced. Why are they running away from that debate? Sit in parliament, debate, ask for amendments, and we are repeatedly saying that the BJP government will never tolerate that police excesses should be done on any Indian citizen, not only just students, but the police has no right to use excess on any Indian citizen. The Prime Minister has formed a high-power 6-member committee for the students. Now, what more what more can BJP do as a government? And what is the Congress doing? What is the other opposition parties? What are they doing? They are doing a disservice to the nation. They have lost the plot because the students have called off the strike and the students believe in the Prime Minister. Okay. I rest my case on that.
Okay, so Mr. Khalikur Rahman, the Prime Minister has addressed the students. The Education Minister has resigned. The Education Secretary has been shunted. Over 47 of the NTO officials have been sacked. The high-powered committee has been put in place. Fast-track courts have been put in place. Stricter laws are being brought in as well. But what you're saying is that none of this matters because the government is only making promises, nothing else.
Pratibhaji, it's, what my esteemed co-panelist of the BJP is saying. See, the foremost question one has to understand that the opposition just wants, the statement from the Prime Minister in the House that whatever the questions opposition is posing in the House, let the Prime Minister, let the Home Minister reply to that. Then after that, where will be, the ruckus in the House? It is the BJP as
there will be a question, however, when the bill is presented, and you will have the Education Minister, Prahlad Joshi, who will answer the questions of the opposition.
No. See, but what about all these police, brutalities which have been done.
Okay.
We want that to be
Okay, so we are
addressed
now
first.
circling back to that. I think we're, going round in circles and coming back to the same issue, and that's what the opposition seems to be doing as well. As we come to a close, I just want to take closing thoughts from Shaina on this, because Shaina, over the last few days as well, as we have been debating the protest, it has been centered around the students entirely, from the government's response and how the government initially did not respond to the protest, to now finally a resignation and the changes that the government has brought in. Is the disservice to the students being done by the opposition here? What is the end point here? That's what we want to know, because until now the questions remain. What happens to the protests? The protests have been called off. The protesters have gone home. They're happy with the government's response. For now, of course, the question of accountability continues. But what about the opposition? Where will we see the end of these disruptions in the parliament?
Look, I think the important bills that need to come up in this monsoon session, everyone knows, whether it's the anti-paper league bill, and the status is clearly that the fast-track courts have been put in place. And of course, it is important that the government's response to the NEET protests and protesters too, but that happens through dialogue and discussion. If we look at the exam reforms, Pratibha, the Prime Minister has announced the necessary steps, talked about transparency, accountability, competitive exams. All of this is in place. So the government is in every mode addressing an issue with the reference to the students from their youth point and their viewpoint at every level. So I think if we did not want to have this kind of a proactive stand, then whether it's the Prime Minister or the Home Minister or the parties like my own Shiv Sena, which has supported the students completely, has said that, the police brutality at Jantar Mantar and the accountability needs to be set in place. So there are systems in place. But if you keep on adjourning and believing that, without having any discussion or any reform talk or no debate first on brutality, how can you do that if you don't even come to Parliament? And as far as the Congress party is concerned, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, I think it's really below the belt to kind of make this his own kind of political repositioning and revamping and using it as a prop to unearth his wrongdoings of a political party as an opposition.
Okay, all right. So all we can say is the people are watching. The students are watching as well. They have seen who extended their support to the protests. They're also looking at who is stalling the reforms that the government is trying to bring. Now, there has to be a mid-path here where the opposition also agrees to what the government wants in terms of the changes that are going to come in. The parties need to come together for the larger cause. Yes, the politics around it will continue, but the students will have to remain at the center of this entire issue, and that's our appeal as well. I'm thanking our guests for joining us this evening and slipping into a very short break here.